You got them from? Where you get them from?
Oh, we got them from Walmart.
Yeah.
We made some beads.
Yup.
I paid for yesterday.
I like that.
I messed up though. Like,
You ain't messed up. It don't stuff don't have to be perfect when you paint. It ain't a mess up. Shoot.
look at this little beard.
I like that.
Thanks.
I like that. That's nice.
Hey, Queen wants this one too. She's like, send me that one.
Yeah. We here, Noble. We here. We here, man. So be patient with me. We ready. Let me get something ready for y'all. So we're gonna remove this religious dogma. With brothers coming with these misteachings, with this Al-Islam stuff. So we're gonna correct this. And then we're gonna talk some science. Yep, we're gonna correct this. So we got a couple more people to log in. We're gonna correct this teaching real fast. Can y'all hear me? Cause I told you when a person show their hand, hold on, let me get my picking. Yep. You see my mama hand, y'all? Y'all can hear me? Good. We gonna clear up some controversy. So I want you to get your pencils and your papers. Cause I tell y'all every day, more science is not no man-made religion. You got these Al-Islam brothers that try to diss somebody, and I say, you know better than a brother that's under European Christianity because you believe in some sky god. And then this is what a person to say, that the Quran is the oldest book. You hear me, Dad? Is the only book of law. This is what a statement somebody said, the Quran. And I say, you have no history. The Quran is not old. None of that stuff is old. So a person to say that the Quran is the only book of law, that's just like saying a Christian to say the only book is the Bible. And it was 16 crucified saviors before Jesus Christ. You got to show, it ain't no what Muhammad. What Muhammad? We dealing with science. See, that's why I said, you don't get into a discussion with a person with religion and you giving science. They're going to talk religion. They're trying to talk righteousness to a person that's ready to bust your head. You don't even know how to defend yourself. You're going to keep talking and get your head bust. So the thing when I tell people, I know when a person coming from a religious perspective. How? By the words you speak. That's just like me and my dad was talking the other day, and the person was like, oh, well, only thing they study from the person when they research, it got to be a person that's a Christian. Well, I said, you don't know nothing. If you're saying that only thing you read is from people that's Christians, or the person got to be a Christian, what you talking about?
And you could judge other things.
But you could, based off
what the Christian told you, you could be able to judge Islam and anything else.
You see the asinineness in that? That's asinineness, and I made that word up. You see what I'm saying, y'all? Think about it. People coming with a religious, connotated, dogmatic perspective. This is science. That's why I be telling Negroes, check your ego at the door, because more science. It's not no religion. This ain't no Al-Islam. This ain't no European Christianity. If any Negro say that more science is some religion, that's some man-made shit. That's some pie in the sky. This more science. I'm an adept. I'm not finna get into no religious argument with no Negro. I don't care about your religion. They'll bust a Muslim head the same way they'll bust my head. You talk about some religion. You talk about some sky guy. You talk about some book that some man made. Ain't no God wrote those books. You talking about a book that was written by a man. You talking about a Bible that was written by man. And then you talk about holy books. You have no holy books. That's why I be saying people put all their faith in the damn book. Especially when these religious Negroes talk about the Quran. The Quran ain't old. The Quran ain't old. The Quran comes from something. So where's the source? You believing in the man, you believing in the image, you believing in what somebody told you because you ain't read shit. And I know you ain't read nothing. Anybody that come with a religious perspective, especially these brothers be talking that Al-Islam garbage. More science is not no Al-Islam. What are you converting to? We ain't converting to nothing. In more science, Islam is not no submission. Islam is peace. In more science, God and man is one. If you don't understand that, that's true shirk. We don't gravitate to no religion where we miss the essence of all the rest. That's why I be asked, saying more, this is the triple roll of the doubt chamber. So let me do my Moorish American prayer, and we're going to correct these teachings once again for these religious Negroes. Get your pens. Because we finna illuminate this, and then we're going to teach science. And I'm done, and I'm going to leave it right there. So I'm going to do our Moorish American prayer first. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Shalom alaikum, assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. Whatever name you give him praise, so what? A prophet come in the voice of the people. Why? So you won't be confused with the language that's being promulgated. You gonna let somebody come and tell you need to learn a foreign language. That don't got nothing to do with righteousness. If you know a different language, cool. Whoop-de-doo. But you talk about some Arabic, you don't even know the native tongue, because the continent of Africa, you had many different cities, countries in the continent. So they spoke different languages depending on the tribe, depending on what area you stayed in. You might have spoke Bantu, you might have spoke Zulu, you might have spoke Yoruba. You might have spoke whatever language you spoken. So don't miss me with that garbage. And then religious Negroes, I be seeing them dyeing their beard red, trying to look like somebody else. Y'all taking these foreign teachings. You trying to be somebody else and instead of yourself. And I know these new religious Negroes ain't read the Bukhari Hadith. Oh, we about to dig today. So let me give our warning that the prophet ordered for governors to read the proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work. Or we on YouTube, Noble. In their homes or in their streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card, button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by the order of our prophet Noble Drew Ali. So let me tell y'all something right now. All these people that talk about they Moors and they talk about this government, this de facto government, and right now you niggas sorry because I done seen so many Moors talk about they finna, ISIS, talk about they finna get some government check. I'm finna apply for that $1,000 to get that government, but y'all talk about this de facto government. You see how these Negroes hypocrites and these Moors, I ain't even gonna blast y'all out. I ain't even gonna blast the goofy Moors out. They talk all this, de facto government, we finna expatriate from the government, but right now, these goofy Moors talk about they finna apply for a government loan of $1,000. A beggar nation can't save itself. These Negroes ain't got a slug. They can't even go 30 days. We only 2 days in. Moors don't have nothing. That's what I be saying. You sorry, just talking. And these Moors, I ain't gonna call y'all out. I done seen it on every Moor page. Oh, I'm gonna apply for this state. They having this relief fund. The government giving you $1,000. Then Moors talk about I already applied for my loan. These Moors, and then they jump their sorry ass on the internet talking stuff. But this de facto government. But you need the government. But you sorry Negroes need the government. See, I ain't gonna call your names out. I ain't gonna call your names out. I ain't gonna call none of y'all name out. But you know who I'm talking to. Because I'll pull it up right now. Every sorry Moor. Yeah, man, I went on that website. I applied to get that $1,000. You're sorry after applying to get something from the state. You a sucker. We ain't even 30 days in. We ain't even 30 days in. And that's why I be saying, y'all ain't nothing. Y'all ain't about nothing. Your religion don't mean nothing. You can get on your knees and all day pray. You ain't no God. I'm a God. In my family, we gods, and we live, no matter what happens, we're going to continue to be gods. We're going to continue to be God. Shit, this ain't nothing for me. I done been through the fire. This ain't nothing for me. I'm with my family. This ain't no isolation. Isolation. This ain't no isolation. I'm with my family. We always been clean. We always ate clean. This ain't nothing to us. My family here. See, Negroes, they don't like to be with their family, just like those sorry Negroes. Now, you can't just run the streets now because you ain't got to work. You can't tell your old lady, I got to go make a run. Can't do that now because you don't want to be at home. I know these sorry Negroes, man. I know them. They'll show their hand every day and talk that religious garbage. Talk about this de facto government and all this, and the beggar nation can't save itself. And these Moors talk about they done applied for a government loan. But then you on the internet talk about this de facto government. You see the goofy stuff? Because see, I start naming every Moor. I start naming every single Moor. Y'all sorry. I start because Moors be showing their hand. Y'all sorry. Talk about you gonna apply for this government loan to get $1,000. And we only 2 days in. So what you been doing all that? I know Moore's been working 20 years. Them man ain't empresses. You don't got nothing saved up? Going to the restaurants. This is the time you should be home cooking. Oh, your empress don't know how to cook, huh? You finna apply for something from the government, but you call yourself a Moor and this your land and this and this that. And this all, listen, you only this de facto government, but your sorry ass finna beg the government for $1,000? Your sorry ass finna beg the government for $1,000, huh? See? You can't even feed yourself. Negroes can't even feed themselves. Been working 20, 30 years. Talk about you finna apply for something from the state, then jump your sorry ass on the internet, talk about the government, and then you jump your sorry ass back on here, talk about, yeah, I'll apply for that $1,000. Y'all niggas sorry, man. Sorry. And you know who I'm talking to. Now let's deal with some stuff. Let's deal with some facts when these Negroes talk about the Quran is this and the Quran. Man, the Quran ain't the oldest. These ancient teachers, if you was a philosopher, you was an adept, you would know it. Our prophet said it's gathered and compiled. Every holy book from the Unto Thee I Grant, from the Aquarian Gospels, said these are ancient writings. And then you Negroes, religious Negroes, take what some man said and take that as dogma. Some that's written by a man. And not dealing with science, not understand science. You dealing with religion. You know better than the Negro Christian. You know better than the Negro Mason. You know better. Or you think it because you call it something different that you different than somebody. Let's deal with this science right now. Don't be fooled, y'all. That Islam that they give y'all, that ain't no black man religion. That ain't our religion. And then they calling themselves black. They offline out anyway because we Asiatic. The European is black, if you understand etymology. So you are the pocket right there. So let's deal with this. And then I want y'all to deal with your higher self. Don't get in nobody's religion because you've been lied to for so long. So we're going to deal with this. So the color of one's skin has suddenly became relevant to religion. So you got these so-called al-Islam Muslims, and these black Muslims have been trying to convince African citizens that Islam is the religion of the so-called black man, but you ain't black, or the Asiatic man. That Islam is African, and that Muhammad was black. But see, they tripping because they talk about some Muhammad. We are Muhammadans. Y'all missing the whole fact. This is monotheism. We ain't praising no Muhammad. What Muhammad? We are Muhammadans. So let's finish this teaching. Needless to say, Moors, these religious al-Islam Muslims only make these claims to blacks. Among whites, they take a different approach. I'm telling you how I know this for a fact. Knowing that these are thoughts, they thought out falsifications intended to only draw Negro, blacks, and color toward al-Islam. That's why I said, don't get me in I know about all the religions. I'm an adept. I don't gravitate to no man-made religion where I miss the essence and the science. That's why I'm giving y'all Allah put it on my heart to give you some facts and some science and let you research it for yourself instead of just listening to somebody. Because I know these Negroes ain't read the Bukhari Hadith. Because most of these Negroes don't even have a third grade understanding. You read some, but you don't understand nothing you read. You don't have no dictionaries to cross-reference what you say. You just reading over shit, trying to arbitrarily explain something to somebody. So let's deal with it. Nothing what I'm saying is meant to to lend approval to this racial approach. And if we are to accept or reject Islam, it should be based on Islam's own merits. We ain't talking about Moorish science. We ain't talking about Islamism. We ain't talking about Sufism. You see what I'm saying? We talk about this man-made religion, this Al-Islam, the same shit as Christianity. Because when the so-called Muhammad walked the earth that these Negroes talk about, it was under the Byzantine Empire. Muhammad married who? Khadijah, her cousin, Wergwa, high Roman priestess. Muhammad only know what he was taught. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Y'all better stop playing with me, man. Hotel. Africa was not the cradle of Islam. When I talk about dispensations, I'll show y'all about the Sheikh and the Dia, that dispensation. But I'm telling you, Africa, this Al-Islam crap, Africa was not the cradle of Islam. Let somebody tell you that. They ain't no scholar. They coming from a religious perspective. I bet you they're a so-called religious, a Muslim scholar. They ain't gonna tell you the truth. They gonna come from their religious perspectives because they got a motive. I'm a Moor. I don't come from no religion. I understand all of it. Hell. Islam was born. When was Islam born? That Al-Islam. And we talk about the Quran is old. When was Islam, if y'all so smart, Islam was born when, y'all? So we're going to deal with the facts. The Al-Islam that they talking about, this foreign stuff, not no more science, God and man is one, not Sufism, not Zoroastrianism. This Al-Islam, when was it born? When was it born, y'all? When was this Al-Islam born? And then you can start using your brain, but like it can be old. Let's deal with it. Because the Moors ruled Spain for 700 years. So let's deal with it. When was Islam born? Nah, 1432. Man. So what century is that? What century is that? What Islam you talking about? What Islam you talking about, Noble? That's why I be saying, I said Islam, I'm talking about Al-Islam. I'm talking about Al-Islam. Was born in what century? Because more science is not Al-Islam. So that Islam was born in what century? What century? Okay, so if you can give a date, what century is that? I'll wait. These for people that give themselves titles of adepts and sheiks. Well, a sheik in Moorish Science Temple is an adept. See? I'll keep waiting. I'm going to keep waiting for everybody that like to make statements. I'll wait. Because I deal with facts. I ain't here for no propaganda. I see what everybody do. I know a lot of these Moors, they be following these propaganda, these TV shows just to be talking shit. I don't have time for that. A person show their hand all day. A lot of people just get on stuff just to be making statements and they ain't doing no real movement. I know your hand. Because the people are telling you, I know it. Most of these Moors that say they more scientific, they be following stuff just talking. They ain't doing nothing. And then they call themselves adepts and sheiks. So for all these brothers that say they Moorish, this elementary wisdom, because Moorish science is not Al-Islam. So therefore, no, not no 15th century. No, and see, and this is the thing. And if a Moor make a statement, and then if they know they wrong, yes it is, they'll argue with you. And I know you ain't did no research. Not no damn 15th century. I'll keep waiting.
Is it the 7th?
Yeah, ISIS the 7th century.
You said 600 years ago, right?
Well, no, well, once you start doing math, a brother said 1492 and all this, and then we say, okay, well, if that's the case, your math is off. And so that's why I said we just be repeating, regurgitating shit. We ain't valid with nothing, and that's religion. We gotta agree on principle, science. No, it ain't no mistake. It ain't no mistake. So don't do that. It ain't no mistake, man. It ain't no mistake. That's what we do. So it wasn't no mistake, Noble. You ain't made no mistake. You ain't did nothing wrong to me. That's what I'm saying. But if you giving out information, you got to apologize to them. You can't make no mistake to me. You ain't made no mistake to me. You ain't made no mistake to me. That's what I be saying, how people repeat some stuff based on their own understanding, believing they belie. And I say, we got to walk out the house synchronized. This science wasn't no 15th century. The 7th century. So if you can, I'm talking about Al-Islam. You know? And see, and that's what Moors do. So when I talk to Moors, this is what I do. When brothers, they can't be corrected from love and they just want to talk. This is what we do. Right here. This is what we do. Done deal. You see? That's what we do. We just let them be. because they don't want to be corrected with love. They think they doing something and think they on some higher power and can't be corrected with love. And then say when we do something, we want to say it's a mistake. It ain't no mistake, because if we don't know, we'll say educate me on it. Because if I don't know something, I'm not just going to make a statement. I'm going to say, well, enlighten me on it. I'm not just going to be throwing a whole bunch of stuff guessing. I'm not going to be throwing a whole bunch of stuff guessing. Man, see, I'm not talking. Brother, this more science. What prophet Muhammad? What prophet Muhammad? I'm talking the depth science. So what prophet Muhammad? What prophet Muhammad? Because I'm talking from the higher science. So in no Quran, it ain't no Muhammad. So in the middle, the only begotten son is the son of God in the middle with all the astrological signs off of it. So what Muhammad we talking about? You see? That Islam was born in the 7th century in Arabia, in the Arabian Peninsula. And that's what I be saying. Moors be so, this is the thing about a lot of Moors. They be so tough on the internet and argue with their own brother, but I ain't your enemy. I ain't your enemy. But you ain't finna check no Negro, you ain't finna check no European, but you will come on here and want somebody to explain something, but you say you more science temple. You should know exactly what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So if you ain't here for that, the easy way you came on here is the simplest way you can get off. And that's what I be saying, man. I don't got time for nobody to be on here just want to ask a whole bunch of questions and then trying to tell somebody what to do. And then don't listen. The same way you came in, you can get off. Why would you even go? Why would a person even go on to somebody's page and you want to cause confusion? All the person got to do is just get off. Why do we do that? And then try to act tough. Why do we do that? All we have to do is just bow out and be like, okay, I ain't here for that. Easy. Because I ain't finna be nowhere I ain't wanted. Yellow Asia and Black Africa are separated by what? Yellow Asia and Black Africa are separated by what? More than I like to talk about the demarcation line. So Yellow Asia and Black Africa are separated by what? Wait. What is it separated by? Want me to give you a hint? We're talking about dispensation. We're talking about time periods, dispensations. So Yellow Asia during that time we talking about and Black Africa are separated by what? By what? By what sea? By what sea? Because we don't have to guess. If we don't know, just say we don't know. Just say we don't know. But we be so tough with our own brother. But when other people, people done lied to you, all these schools and all this forever, you ain't in front of those schools like y'all done lied to us, teach real history. You ain't going in front of them talk about that pseudo academia. But we want to come with an attitude with our own brother. I ain't your enemy. That's the problem. But it's separated by the Red Sea. And so if you understand that, we are talking about 2 different continents and 2 different peoples. This simple. Islam went to Africa relatively recent. That Al-Islam crap. And it's not the prominent religion there. I mean, if y'all don't know about Haile Selassie and the Kibbutz and the Gas, we talk about Ethiopia or Abyssinia. African Americans were most likely either during that time, they wasn't no European Christians. But you got to understand when we talk about Christ-like and animist, at that time, they were brought to the so-called Americas. Christianity has been, the Christ-like has been present in Africa since the first half of the 1st century. I keep showing y'all books that I got from the museum when I be showing y'all St. Mark, the writer of the Gospel of Mark. When y'all think it's all some white man, that's what they do to draw y'all off the trail. The Gospel of Mark was a Northern African Jew who preached the gospel to Egypt. And from their Christ-like or their Christianized, they spread all over North Africa and to the south of Egypt's border. And the Eastern churches raised the level of sainthood. When I talk about our saints, Santeria, Orisha. So a lot of those in Africa, they was raised to sainthood. In many Africans, Saint Moses, the Black from Egypt, and Saint Tilka, Himeno, the Ethiopian or the Abyssinian, and others. One of the teachers and prophets in the early church, Simon, was an African from where? The Niger in West Africa. Research Acts 13:1. Get the 1599 Geneva Bible. It don't say nothing about no African Ethiopian. It says Blackamoor. Eastern African was converted to Christianity through the ministry of a cabinet member of Queen Candace of Ethiopia, who was baptized by Saint Philip, one of the 7 deacons in the early church. Read Acts 8:26-40. Watch, and then I'm gonna synchronize the whole Quran and the Bible. Muhammad was not a black man. So now we're finna get, when these brothers be talking that Muhammad stuff, the black man, and I say, remember, the pen was changed. Most Moors ain't read the Bukhari Hadith. Most religious Muslim has not read the Bukhari Hadith. That's how I know when a person say something, I say, you ain't read the Bukhari Hadith. They be like, what's that? I be like, the stuff that go with the Quran that you're reading. How many brothers have read the Bukhari Hadith? How many brothers that profess something, that say, they said, how many of y'all have the Bukhari Hadith, not even read it and understand it? How many of y'all read the story Gad and Seer? How many brothers that want to just say they know? How many of y'all, how many of us know, man? I'll wait. How many of us read the Bukhari Hadith? Or do we know about it? This is how we learn, man. Because see, when we go to church and religion, we just let somebody talk to us. I know it ain't nobody read it all. And then I know words that a lot of Moors just read over the words. So I'll wait. How many Moors do y'all have read the Bukhari Hadith? And not only read it, do we have it? Any Moors on here read the Bukhari Hadith? Yes or no? These are simple questions. And I'll wait. I'll wait. I'm gonna wait. I got time. Because I can just shut it off. Don't make me no different. How many brothers on here read the Bukhari Hadith or understand it? I'll wait. Say, no, I haven't. No, I haven't read it. Or I read a little bit or nothing. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. See, ain't nobody gonna say nothing. And see, that's sad. Muhammad was an Asian Arab. And you can't confuse an Asian Arab with the Asiatic man. And there are numerous evidence that Muhammad was actually white. If you talk about the books that y'all read, that's how I know. That's how I know these religious Muslims ain't read nothing. And it'll take me hours to break all this down. Why? Because one of my professors was a imam from the so-called Middle East. And he was like, everything you're saying is correct. He was like, most religious Muslims, they don't study. Just like most Christians, they only know what the person telling them because it's a belief system. That's why I'll never get in an argument with a person believes. You believe in a rock? Oh, well. So let's deal with it. In Al-Bukhari, in the Sahih Al-Bukhari, volume 1, number 63. Write this down. In the Sahih, in the S-A-H-I-A-A-L, the Al-Bukhari, B-U-K-H-A-R-Y, volume 1, number 63. This is what it reads. While we were sitting with the prophet, a man came and said, who amongst you is Muhammad? We replied, this white man reclining on his arms. What type of language is that? So if the book's so holy, who gonna say this white man reclining on his arm? And that wasn't even describing nobody during those times. Just like when I tell y'all the Willie Lynch is all fake because the language is not right. You got to understand linguistics. So let's finish. In volume 2, hadith number 122 refers to Muhammad as a white person. And in volume 2, hadith number 141, we are told that when Muhammad raised his arms, the whiteness of his arms became visible. The whiteness of his arms became visible. So if I'm an African and my skin is dark, when I raise my hand, my armpits ain't going to be white unless I have alopecia or something. Also, Muhammad owned several black slaves. And y'all talk about some transatlantic slave trade. It names all of them. Ibn Qayyim, write this down. It's in their book, IBN QAYYIM. Al-Jaziyah, AL-JAWZIYYA. And it relies heavily on the prophet's biographies written by the great ancient scholars. Therefore, he is regarded by Muslims as an authority and a primary source and a leader amongst the students of Islamic religion. This scholar tells us in his book, the Zad al-Ma'ad, part 1, page 114 and 116. And I quote, these are the names of Muhammad's male slaves: Yakin, Abu, Sarah, Sharh, Afal, Aflah, Ubad, Ubayd, Dakwan, Dhakwan, Taman, Tahman, Merwan, Mirwan, Hunayn, Hunayn, Sanad, Sanad, Fadala, Yamani, Fadala, Yamamin, Ajasha, Al-Hadi, Anjashaalhadi, Madam, Mad-am, Karka Abdul Rafi, Kara, Abdul Rafi, Aburafi, Twabin, Thawban, Ab Kapsha, Salih, Robin, Yara, Nubia. Man, I can go on and on. And also a black slave called Marin. Even in modern times, in Saudi Arabia, the homeland of Islam, the common word for black is what? Abid, meaning slave. ABD, meaning slave. You ain't know that, did you? But they become my BB. You see them areas, they only want to deal with our black women because they looking at them like slaves. That's why. You talk about some transatlantic slave trade. Man, please. The Arab slave trade was way before then. Research it. What was Muhammad's position on freeing the slaves? In one instance, a man freed a slave that he kept as a sexual partner. And when Muhammad heard what happened, he auctioned the boy and sold him for 800 dirhams to Naam ibn Abdullah al-Naam. Research that in the Bukhari Hadith in the Siyah Muslim, volume 7, page 83. And according to Muhammad, the punishment for committing adultery is different between a free man, a free woman, and a slave woman. The man is to be flogged 100 stripes and be exiled for 1 year. The free woman must be stoned to death. But the slave woman, listen to this, since she has a monetary value, and you talk about some Willie Lynch, like you finna kill somebody, the slave with monetary value. So why you gonna lynch your value? But the slave woman will not be exiled or killed. She is to be flogged 100 stripes. If the violation is repeated, the slave woman is to be sold. Research in your Siyah al-Bukhari, volume 8, page 821 and 822. Also, Islam looked down on the Asiatic man, that al-Islam. Islam is a religion whose sacred scriptures contain explicit, degenerated remarks about Asiatic people. Muhammad referred to blacks as raisin heads. Did you know that, Isis? It's in there. Look up the Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 1, number 662, and volume 9, number 256. If you think I'm just blowing smoke up your rear end. In another hadith, Muhammad is quoted as saying that blacks are pug-nosed slaves. You know what a pug nose? You seen them dogs, them pug nose? That's what it say. So how can a pug nose be ancient with this modern language? But then you get these religious Muslims talk about the Quran is old. It ain't old with this modern language. Can't be. Can't be. Call you a pug-nosed slave. Looking to see how Muslim, volume 9, page 646 and 47. Islam is not the heaven of freedom and equality. Even if we wrongly assume that Islam started in Africa and that its prophets was black or Asiatic, this wouldn't in itself be a good reason for Asiatic to adopt Islam just because somebody looked like you. Nor would it be a good reason for Europeans to adopt Islam just because Muhammad was white. See, we have to look at Islam itself. And the Islam that I am under, I'm a Moor. This Moor science, this Islamism. This ain't no man-made religion. I wouldn't want to be a al-Islam Muslim just because. And I wouldn't want to be no Muslim like that because that Islam is anti-freedom, which is one issue so close to the hearts and minds of the so-called African people, considering the inequities they have suffered in the past. And one thing Islam does not believe in is the freedom of religion. See, if Islam takes over America, there wouldn't be a choice of religion. That's why you're here, because in America, you have a choice of religion. You know what the Quran states? For all these brothers that be talking the Quran, this is what it states, the Al-Islam Quran. This is what it states. If anyone desires a religion other than Islam, never will it be accepted for him. And in the hereafter, he will be in the ranks of those who have lost. That's in the Surah, chapter 3, verse 85. Prove me wrong. You can't. Many of the teachers of Islam are incompatible with progress, and neither are they compatible with human rights. And under human rights, all your civil rights come, or your constitutional rights. And I'm going to give y'all a few examples of these teachings. Men are superior to women. That's what they teach in the Al-Islam Quran. Surah 2 and 22. Women have half the rights of men. In court witnesses, Surah 2, 282. In inheritance, Surah 4 and 11. A man may beat his wife, Surah 4 and 34. A man may marry up to 4 wives at the same time, Surah 4 and 3. Muslims fight until their opponents submit to Islam, Surah 9 and 29. A Muslim must not take a Jew or a Christian for a friend, Surah 5:51. A Muslim apostate must be killed, Surah 9 and 12. Stealing is punished by amputation of the hands, Surah 5 and 3. Adultery is punished by public flogging, Surah 24 and 2. No separation between church and state, Surah 2, 193. No opposition party allowed. No opposition party allowed, Surah 4 and 59. So my fellow Moorish Americans, my Asiatics, with this Arab, this religious stuff, don't care for your so-called skin, and you talking all this about your nationality, and they're using it to gain power. Y'all got to understand, if Muslims wouldn't have cared about Asiatics in the continent of Africa, why are Asiatics and why are so-called African Muslims kidnapping their African Christian brothers and vice versa these days in the Sudan? Butchering them, butchering the weak and selling the healthy as slaves. See the department report. See the department report. The World News. It's News Network International. You can research this. This was old back in May 26, 1993. That's how I know Moors ain't reading. You ain't nobody got to tell me. That's why most Negroes show their hand. That's why I said anybody ain't a friend of mine. I can care less. All most of these Moors do is sit at home, and then these Moors talk about they finna apply for $1,000 a check, and you talk about you a Moor. Man, please. So let me synchronize this, and I'm done. So I'm gonna give y'all the decline. I'm gonna give y'all this right now. The divine pluralism within monotheism, the Christian Trinity, Islamic monotheism, the conflict resolved. Real quick, watch this. I'm gonna read a biblical scripture. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whoever believed in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. That's in the Gospel of John 3:16. Now watch me read the Surah 112, verse 1 to 4. ISIS, and watch it say the same thing. Watch this. Say he, Allah, is one. He begets not, nor is he not begotten, and there is none like him. That's the same thing that John 3:16 just said. Same thing. See, the source of the conflict lies in the confusion of a microcosmic aspect of the one true reality, God the Son, and its most recognized personal manifestations. Just like when Moors be talking about, oh, we don't use this. I deal with science. I ain't looking at no figure as no God. I keep telling Moors 2 plus 2 is 4. And 2 times 2 is 4 as well. You have to add before you multiply. And now you know how to multiply. You're going to get rid of mathematics. Those are tools in the toolbox. That's how I know Moors ain't scientists. Talk about what you don't need. Science been here before all of us. This is Muhammad right there. You believing in some man. That's Muhammad right there. The sun in the middle with all the astrological signs. That's Jesus right there. That's the sun right there. Y'all talking all this man-made garbage. The divine pluralism within monotheism, the Christian Trinity, the Islamic monotheism, the conflict resolved. The identity property of addition states that the sum of 0 and any number of that variable is what, y'all? Watch this. Don't tell them ISIS. Watch this. This is for the brothers that say this is elementary wisdom. Identity property of addition states that the sum of 0 and any number or variable is the number or variable itself, right? 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals what? 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals what, y'all? Three. Indicative of the linear, the finite thinking. causes the intellect and the intuition to clash. So when we talk about the divine pluralism within monotheism and the Christian Trinity, the Islamic monotheism, the conflict resolved. Identity property of multiplication states that the product of one and any number or variable is that number or variable itself. So 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1. Indicative of the true Islamic thought, the infinite. It satisfies both the intellect and the intuition. The divine pluralism within monotheism, the Christian Trinity, Islamic monotheism, conflict resolved. The 1, 3, 7, and the 10, the aspects of God and man. So when you get that triangle and when you get the circle, 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 and they all overlapping a little bit. So watch this. I'm going to give you al-Bukhari. Watch this. Behold, thy Lord said to the angels, I will create Khalifa in the earth. They said, will thou place therein one who will cause mischief and the shedding of blood? While we do celebrate thy praises and glorify thy name. He said, I know what you know not. Surah al-Bukhari 2:30-34. And so, do y'all know what the biblical term, only begotten son, and the Quranic term, Khalifa, are identical? Do you hear me, ISIS? So what they talking about? They ain't read nothing.
No.
You ain't read nothing.
Because if you read it, like
You wouldn't even be saying what you're saying.
it's all the same.
The biblical term, only begotten son, and the Quranic term, Khalifa, are identical. Therefore, the authentic tradition maintains that Surah 2:30 and John 3:16 are describing the same events. Prove me wrong. You can't. You can't. Divine pluralism within monotheism, the Christian Trinity, the Islamic monotheism conflict to resolve once again. So when we talk about the terms, the world and the earth, they are indicative of that which is created or manifest reality. The term God and Allah within this context are indicative of the timeless, the causeless cause that is beyond all manifestation, hence beyond all comprehension. The terms only begotten son and Khalifa refer to God, Allah's presence within his own creation. The miraculous means by which this assertion takes place is referred to in the Bible as what, y'all? The Holy Ghost. And Islamically, what is it called? In the Bible, it's called the Holy Ghost. But what is it Islamically, y'all? Y'all should know this. Everybody that like to say they know, what is it? What is it Islamically? I'll wait. I'm gonna give me some more water and see, do these brothers know the answer? That say they be studying. Because it's right in your books. You see? You see how you can tell that a person really studying and researching? We'll just regurgitate what somebody told us.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
That's okay. You shouldn't. Why would you know it and you ain't introduced and you ain't studied it? You don't know it now because you with me. You don't know now because I'm gonna introduce you to it. You see?
But if they were studying it, and they should know.
Because I went over this a million times. But see, what we like to do is argue over a belief system.
It's not about that.
Nope, it ain't about that. So I'll wait. Can anybody answer that for me? I'm waiting. Everybody that want to say this and what that, ain't nobody answer nothing. So the miraculous means by which the insertion or the assertion takes place is referred to in the Bible as the Holy Ghost. But Islamically, what is it? Islamically, what is it? Islamically, what is it, y'all? Because we talk about the same thing. In the Bible, they call it the Holy Ghost. But in the Quran, Islamically, it's called what? Islamically, it's called what, y'all? ISIS, where we be going to eat? What restaurant I told y'all where we be going to eat all the time?
Beyonce?
The other one.
The Mexican place?
What's the name of it? L what?
Oh.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see if anybody else answered because ain't nobody said nothing. Somebody talk to me. Somebody talk to me, y'all. Ain't nobody gonna talk to me? Because everybody know? Everybody knows. Somebody's tell me something. Do we know? Morris, do we know? Morris, do we know? I'll wait. Morris, do we know? Morris, do we know? And then brother be saying they out Islam. This your religion. You should know it. A person should know their religion. If they're going to claim something, they're going to say they believe something. So evidently, you don't believe what you think you know because you haven't even researched what you think you believe. And your belief is based off a lie. And nobody still said nothing. So the miraculous means by which the insertion and the assertion takes place is referred to in the Bible as the Holy Ghost and Islamically as Baraka, Baraka, and constitutes the authentic tradition, the line that unites divinity and matter. But you want to deal with some religion. Let's finish. Symbols, numbers, letters, and colors. Numbers are the universal language. Numbers are symbols of primordial thoughts, forms. When I talk about the signs and symbols of the primordial man, Moors don't know what I'm talking about. Primordial thought forms, and thus are living things, numbers, measures, vibrations. Thus they define differentiation, manifestation, numbers, maps, patterns. Patterns are the evidence, the shadow of the unseen reality. Letters are phonetic numbers. Colors are visual numbers. When I talk about the table of the gematria and the values of the Arabic alphabet, when we talk about 1, 2, 3, 4 to 14, the Arabic letter, same thing. English, same thing. Geometrical volume, same thing. Sequential value, same. Arabic letter, same. So let's deal with the examples of the numerical explorations using the NAEQ6 code. Every more they say they're adept, they should know what the NAEQ6 code is. They should know what the NAEQ6 code is. Drew Ali equals 72. Vine, John 15:1. I am the vine, and my Father is the husbandman. A clear indicator of the physical manifestation of the authentic tradition. Also, by definition, links to the phrase 72-fold lion, which has the numerical value of 231 of white tincture, alchemical philosopher's stone. When I show you about Pascal Beverly Randolph from 1825 to 1875, right here, and you think you can look at a person and know that what type of blood they got in. He was an Asiatic, half original, born in 5 Point section of New York. So I ain't even gonna stick in that all day. Hey, Empress. Hey. And then you got Aleister Crowley that tried to connotate the science and make it perverse, and it's our science. I'm gonna give you all a quote from the European. Listen to what he said. Speaking on opposing forces working to hinder the objective of the authentic tradition. What I am out to complain of is what I seriously believe to be an organized conspiracy of the Black Lodges to prevent people from thinking. Magic without tears. We shall found society upon a cast of men of earth, sons of the soil. Sons of the soil. The worst thing they can do is what is done in America. To disenchant the man of the earth with his destiny, to fill him with the facts and fancies that enthralled and degenerated idealists and unfit him for his event purpose, that of supplying society with supreme men. I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm gonna educate y'all on things. When people be talking about Noble Drew Ali, I love our prophet, but Abdul Hamid Solomon, when he came to New York and was showing them Europeans that this is our science. Deuce Muhammad. When I show y'all about Angelo Solomon, the first Moorish Mason, Angelo Solomon, y'all arguing over something you don't know? Black, according to science, mean death. What is meant by the word black, according to science, mean death? What kind of science? Mathematically speaking, black equals death, and death is no enemy of man. It is a friend who, when the work of life is done, it just cuts the cord that binds the human boat to the earth, that it may sail on smoother seas. And there is a holy ministry in death. And man cannot die. The spirit man is one with Allah. And while Allah lives, man cannot die. Black, according to science, means death. White means purity. Purity means God. And God means ruler of the land. The relation of the word black to death. We talk about that alchemical. Corinthians 17:35-37. Alchemical death. Disintegration. Defined as the fermentation of elements until a state of dissolution. The alchemical term for purification is negrito. You know that, Isis? Negrito. And occurs via the extreme heating of the material to be transformed within a containment just like when they call it a flask. But in the spiritual death of the ego, the physical body is the flask. The fire is the true will, developed, inflamed by the persecution and the sacrifice, or the initiation per se. This process is referred to by the Taoists as practicing to die, and the Sufis mantra, die before you die. Even Cornelius Agrippa, the occult philosophers, Liber Tres, negrito, or blackness, is the alchemical sense, meaning decomposition by the penetration of the external fire. The inner fire is activated and the matter starts to purify. The body is reduced to its primal matter from which it originally arose. And this process is also called cooking. And the black earth is closed up in a vessel or a flask and heated. Purification is so effective that it destroys the old nature and forms the rotting bodies. It transmutes them into a new state of being to give them a total new fruit. Everything that has life dies, and everything that is dead purifies and finds a new life. Just like in the winter, when all the plant stuff died, don't it be reborn again? That's why in the alchemical process of negrito, it gives rise to the albedo, the white light, the divinity of man, piercing through the development stage of the negrito. It represents man, first recognition of and communication with his divine nature. In fact, Morse, nothing dies except what hinders and obstructs the transformation. And that's your ego. The death, indeed, is transformation, symbolized in astrology as the 8th house, and the tarot deck as the 16th trump, the tower, and alchemically, the planet Saturn, and the base metal lead. So the phrase solvit el koga, what you see on the bathroom, what you think is something scary, and I tell you that's written Kabbalistically, it's really spelled the Temho Ab Abba. What is fixed can only occur within the negrito, and only through negrito is divine man revealed. Prima materia is the plain substance of verse 38, a literal return to the original state, or first matter, so that the external fire Morse can penetrate fully and activate the inner fire to bring about the albedo state, that so-called Big Bang of Western physics. So in chapter 1 of our Moorish Holy Quran, the prima materia equates to the ethers of the plane of the soul and the dark matter of the quantum physics. And the inner fire, that must be touched by the penetrating external fire, is the seed that comes forth from the heart of Allah within. So we talk about types of death. When I say you can be physically alive but spiritually dead, when you believe in some religion, spiritual death, carnal sensation, turn man's attention away from his origin and towards his own creation, his vehicle for physical expression, the rise of the ego over the true self. It was this shift in attention that tore man from his source of Allah, debasing himself. Redemption spiritually occurs when the ego is murdered, allowing the inner seed, the true self, to place in hand with Allah's own hand, the external fire penetrating to the inner fire, the seed, the rays of the alchemical sun at high noon, the Leo rising up, the purified body via the strong grip of the lion's paw. And in the Mason, they use the grip, the lion's paw, all outward. The ancestral soul death through a long process of radical social and cultural amalgamation and ancestral connection to our forefathers was broken. And then the physical death or the civic death. That's why the Moorish Science Temple of America, it was established as a civic organization and then the religious organization, because you had to be a complete 5/5, your nationality, your spirituality. And the Moorish Science Temple is a bona fide conduit for the authentic tradition, called by Moorish American Muslims, the everlasting gospel. This is not no cultism. We don't get into that mysticism. That's why we adepts. That's why I said the clock of destiny is science. I don't deal with no man. You can't refute nothing in science, but you look at a man. This is not no occult. This is not no mysticism. This is not a magic or sorcery, although just as potent as all three. This is Islamism, the religious Islamic monotheism from the Moorish American perspective. Its teachings will serve to put the practitioner well within reach of the secrets that rule not only the present world, but the world of the hereafter, for sure. True religious knowledge rules the world. That's the problem. So I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of this and I'm done. Some of Moors that talk that stuff because you put your faith in man, and I'm gonna give you a little bit and you tell me anything I'm saying can be refuted. But most people deal with figures and they don't deal with science. And that's why I know a person's wisdom is so limited. Knowledge of truth is mankind's highest attainment. You shall know truth and truth will make you free. Hold on, y'all. I got to take this call. What's up, Aaron? No, 10 to 7. Get the hell out of there. Okay. Yeah, you good. All right. All right, bye. All evidence points towards the fact that had the truth been taught, there would have been no need for the great statement to be recorded in literature, even in the biblical scriptures. See, I'm aware of the fact that the category of astrology, global geography, and the history of the Moorish nation will conflict with 9 out of every 10 persons of the United States of America, especially those often referred to as Negroes, ranging between the ages of 20 and 50, and even a lot of Moors that think they know, owning to some Islam and some Christian education. Therefore, I concede that this science mentioned will appeal to the youth of tomorrow and those who will approach the ages of 18 to 21. See, this is the restoration of civilization relies upon the ability of this group during the next 7 years of global economic and social revolution. See, the majority of those now ranging between 20 and 50 years of age have been too deeply instilled with emotional, and that's where everybody be coming from, an emotional, no facts, coming from an emotional religious doctrine and a distorted history, which has been written by prejudiced European Americans, educators during the past however many years you want to talk about, even these Negroes. This group emotionally rely upon that which they have been taught to believe. They facts and testimony are not foundation on their faith, except in very rare cases. And these people accept without question the beliefs of those among whom they are born and revere, and will disbelieve even the evidence of their senses rather than disband with the impractical emotional religious belief which have grown in them. Persons who possess the applied knowledge of the science of astrology always employ the terms such as science, truth, or facts rather than mystic, magic, terms employed in religious mystery. That's like when more we talk about some Allah or God or Jehovah or Jesus and Christ and Muhammad. These 5 magic religious terms breed only false fear, mental confusion, conflicting opinions, and secret hatred. Right now, Negroes hate you and they basing it on a religion. But I ain't your enemy. You've been lied to. Astrologers are aware of the fact that the aforementioned mystic magic phrases of emotional fear employed in religious mystery are laden with confusion, mental slavery, human hatred, jealousy, discrimination, human caste, economic and social degradation, human warfare, bloodshed, destruction, and starvation. And today, religious worshipers, Christians and Islams, I don't care, even these religious so-called Moors, have proven to the entire world that they had rather resort to emotional human hatred and fight, suffer, and die over the name of a mystical God and religion, then responsibly agree with simplified and applied truth, facts, or science involving their economic and social stride as shown in the 12 signs of the ever-present zodiac. In order that you might really understand what I'm saying and this science, you gotta be advised to momentarily lay aside all that which you thought you to believe, except mathematics. And as a result, you will be guided by common reason rather than traditional emotional belief. I'm aware of the fact that both Muslim and Christ, teachers have a monopoly on the mystic religious superstitions, but not on mathematics. See, the science of geometry involving the 12 signs of the zodiac, the universal law, that's Islam. Astrology and astronomy. The difference between astrology and astronomy is that astrology treats of human characteristics, talents, actions, and reactions. Sociology, economics, and global geography, or space and time. Astronomy is the priest per se, the pope, the bishop, the rabbi, the preacher, the duke, the duchess, the queen, the king, the Anglo-Saxon lower code of the Christian world, of whom propagates the myth culture of heaven in the sky and hell below after death. The Christian astronomers of the stargazers who go to heaven by way of expensive telescopes and then promulgate that which they imagine live on planets, Mars, Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, the moon, and Venus. See, such philosophy definitely cannot help or solve our economic and social problems. The real moon and sun are under our feet, and that's the earth. The powers of the moon and sun dwell within our women. Now you can draw your own conclusion as to why astrology and astronomy conflict. Astrology erases all belief and opinions of superstition, confusion, religious mystery, false fear, and idol or image worship. Astrology has always involved this universal simple fact, namely women and grown sons in the course of 1 second can observe the moon, the sun, the stars, the earth, and themselves without employing a telescope. Therefore, women and grown sons comprise the supreme manifestation of the whole of creation, space and time, which need no doctrine or no religious mystery, fear and superstition. So to influence them to employ that which is right, because the science of astrology, woman, sons, earth, water, air, heat, that fear, and food constitute the great force of the creation, often referred to in science as electromagnetic, current, voltage, or atomic energy. Islam Moors? Islam Moors? Remember, the human body and mind and earth contain all elements of nature. We are what we eat, drink, inhale, and exhale. Therefore, all energy generates from our stomachs, our mind, and earth. We, the human family, are the only supreme moving planets or heaven bodies. The earth don't come to us, we go to the earth. Objects do not come to us. We go to all objects by way of what? Walking, riding, flying, sailing, observation, mathematics, vibration of sound and signal. Our code of facts, perfection, and guidance of practical wisdom comprise of what? Mathematics. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, or 3, 6, 9, 12, the universal standard rule of measurement and the letters of the alphabet. Astrology is the code of the Moorish nation, our forefathers of the hemisphere, who founded the Universal Order of Islam 1,367 years ago and re-educated the confused human family, thereby establishing the greatest civilization that the world has ever known, the civilization in which we now live. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 3, 6, 9, and 12. The 60 seconds of the minute, the 60 minutes of the hour, and also the letters of the Arabic alphabet, of all which comprise the culture of the Moors, our forefathers of the Muslim world, who are often referred to in the Christian literature as Mohammedans or heathens. The code of the Roman cross order, Roman numerals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then 10. And the Latin or the Spanish language comprised the Christian code, of which was born out of our Moorish forefathers' code in South Africa and Panaginia, known today as Argentina, the original reign of the new master of humanity, who possesses ruddy or red, pale skin with greenish blue eyes and long blonde hair. Argentina, Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, all of which comprise the springboard of the Roman nation of many different races, castes, and color guides by domens, or dogmas, is a Latin phrase which defines as what? False doctrine. The Rome and the con. The term Rome implies to the people who conquer by intrigue, force, and violence, and enslave the human mind through false doctrine of religious mystery and image, or idol worship of various mystical God phrases, most common of which are Jehovah, Muhammad, God, Christ, or Buddha. So let us remember that these United States of North America comprise every so-called race of the lily white family. No disrespect. The term Khan or Khan, Khan, implies the people who control the board of real estate, commerce, production, and distribution of the order of the Roman colonization, which manifested with Wall Street in Amsterdam or New York, USA, and Java, East India, both of which are the headquarters of the nobles, the dukes, the lords, and the duchess of Rome, and Cannes, the jury over the wealth and culture of the Moorish or Asiatic nation. Our forefathers who were defeated by the Roman conquerors after having undergone some 364 years intermittent conflict from Patagonia to Alaska, Canada, and Greenland, having been defeated by the Roman tribes of South Africa. They submitted themselves to Roman slavery under the names such as Negro and Indian, which resulted in the loss of their birthrights. And in 1774, the Christian calendar year, which is equivalent to 1194 Moorish calendar year. So 1453 and 1492 Christian calendar year is equivalent to 873 and 912 Moorish calendar year. And the Roman conquerors added 580 years to the Moorish calendar. Prove me wrong. You can't, because you ain't dealing with science. You're dealing with man-made religion. 1795 Christian calendar year is equivalent to 1,215 Moorish calendar year. 1865 Christian calendar year is equivalent to 1,285 Moorish calendar year. 1946 C is equivalent to 1366 May. 1946 and 1366 have cleared up the mystery of the 666. In that context, in the under context, 666 is 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, the chemical makeup of man. You believe in some spooky religion. New York is the empire state of the order of the Roman Khan, the lily white, no disrespect, people of the world. Have you ever stopped to think that among the Asiatics of the USA, referred to as Negroes, there can be had a similarity of every so-called race of the entire world if you a scientist? That's why the land of the Moors, the crest of Asia, Peru, Mexico, Isabella or Cuba, USA, Canada, and Alaska, all of which comprise the land of the cultured Moors, the descendants from the ancient Moabite nation, the fathers of civilization who inhabited the hemisphere. Thus the USA, Alaska, Canada lie in a geographical region of the crest of Asia, often referred to as the temple of the moon and sun, of which scientifically imply the great what? Inclination of the earth axis to the sun during the month of June, July, and August in the northern hemisphere. So what our forefathers were before this land of ours, namely a Mexico, was named North, Central, and South America. We are today, without a doubt of contradiction, namely Moor. The name Moor is derived from the name Moabite. The crest of Asia symbolized the Great Pyramid, and shown on the reverse side of the United States $1 bill of 1928. Names such as Negro, black, color, Indian, red, African, Jew, white are slave labels of Roman cross order of segregation, hatred, slavery, and exploitation. The Reconstruction period of 1853 and 1865 resulted in the United Order of the Christian Lily White world of organized labor, agriculture, industrial or commercial unionism, and military procedure, which made the Roman nations the mistress of the 7 seas. And Moors want to get up here and talk all that stuff. And I said, if you can't go to the grocery store right now, where are you going to go to your land? Moors want to argue over stuff. They don't even have land. They don't even have a stockpile of food and vegetables and seeds that you can replenish the land. And you want to get on here and argue about a religion. Me and my family can go on our 40 acres and live off the land and be happy. The manifestation of the KC, of the KKK, the union of the 1853 to 65 was the manifestation of the K of C and the KKK, of which involved 500 million people of red or ruddy pale skin with long hair, which comprised of 1/4 of the world's population of 2,160,000,000 during that time period. And the Asiatic nation comprised 3/4 of the world's population, and the European nations of the Roman cross order of Christ and Mary comprised only 1/4. The celebrative Magna Carta of a Council of North America, which granted freedom to the blind masses, en masses in French, which defines in English as one body. And the celebrative Magna Carta is the document which granted economic, social, and commercial freedom and equality to all people of ruddy pale skin with long hair or flaxen regardless to race label and religiousism or politicism faith. And the province is Biblo in 1946. That's why the celebrative story of Abraham Lincoln involving the freedom of the Moorish descendants referred to as Negroes is played up falsely. The insignia on the United States dime of 1865 represents the staff of the Roman Acts. Research it. The United White Order, which unfortunately left the Moorish or Asiatic descendants on the outside looking in. And universally, during the past 93 years, during that time of the Roman economic and social and commercial stride, Father Abraham, the God of the Roman Union, involving North and South Pole, July 4th and January 1st, Lincoln. And if you are skeptical, you might denounce the names such as Negro, colored, black, in Africa, and go to the library and ask for the history of the Moorish Empire. Your history, and carefully observe the people's reaction. This is the history the European American has thought you would never know. Nevertheless, you have the fundamentals in this science that I'm giving you. The two empires during the past 1,367 years of this new era of Islam. During the past 1,367 years, there have been only two world empires, namely the Moorish Empire of the Order of Islam and the Roman Empire of the Order of Christ and Mary. And the Order of Christ is 173 years old, calculated from 1774, the era which resulted in the birth of the United States Marine Force in colonial North America, the cream of the German, Francisco, or French legions referred to as pirates. And during the Moorish world domination, there was no Europe, England, France, Greece, Rome, Egypt, Africa, China, Japan, or Russia across the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans. Research it. Therefore, Moors, the United States history of the Christian order might be compared with that of the celebrative story referred to as Santa Claus, which is mythology. Have you ever thought to think that on the most sacred day of the Christian order, namely December 25th, Moors, the Christian nations, they promulgate the world's greatest false myth of Santa Claus? Remember, December 25th is the foundation of this philosophy, Moors, of Christ, they say, right? That's why the history of the Moorish nation of our forefathers lie hidden in the library of every state of the Union, and also in the library of practically every home of European Americans, referred to as, no disrespect, white people. Therefore, the history of the Moorish Empire is not news to them, for they have been guided by the history of the Moors under the potent influence of fear and hatred during the past 93 years, calculated from 1865. See, the basic reason why Asiatics can never become Christians. It's impossible for a people of heavy olive and live olive hue of skin, commonly known as dark brown and light brown, or copper colored races to even become European Christians because of this fact. The Christians worship a God that looked like them, no disrespect. Their figures are theirs, the very image of themselves. And the Christian God is definitely their manifestation. His only begotten Son is tangible evidence of their God. It's already been stated in other science that during the past 1,367 years, there has been only two world empires, and namely the Moorish Empire and the Order of Islam and the Christian Empire of Christ. We almost done. And Moors gonna talk about what you don't need no more. I say, if 2 + 2 is 4 and 2 × 2 is 4, you gonna get rid of mathematics because you know how to multiply? You ain't added enough yet to get rid of mathematics. I ain't even gonna get into the day codes. What I'm trying to do is set a precedent so we can get out of this religious dogma. That's why the Greek, the Hebrew, and the Latin of Rome cross order definitely cannot go beyond the Arabic alphabet. Our Moorish forefathers, the code of the alphabet and mathematics, have proven that, no disrespect, Europeans, nobody, no disrespect to nobody, they have no culture of their own. Why would you argue with somebody that say they came out of caves? Why would you argue with somebody that say that? You wasted your energy. When I ain't come out no cave, you ain't come out no cave. So if that's their history, let them have it. The Moorish color code in electronics, which describe the unit of resistance, current, and voltage, the magnetic law, the atomic energy. It follows: 0 symbolizes black, 1 symbolizes brown, 2 symbolizes red, 3 symbolizes orange, 4 symbolizes yellow, 5 symbolizes green, 6 blue, 7 violet, 8 gray, 9 light or white. And if more say they are deaf, they probably more scientific. They should know the science, but we got caught up in some man. See, our Moorish forefathers had harnessed atomic energy and employed it for both good and ill. Many centuries before the red-skinned blondes of Patagonia had become educated by the cultured Moors. That's why I be saying, how can you be an adept and you can't attract nothing natural? When I talk about the 7 Kemetic principles, the law of attraction, we aren't supposed to be poor. We ain't no beggar nation. Atomic energy is new to the Europeans, but not new to us. The Christian race and color scheme was founded upon the Moorish color code of electronics. I just broke it down. It is definitely impossible for a nation that is dominated by various secret orders to solve its economic and social problem in this atomic age. You got to ask yourself this question: how can one help himself or herself and others without exposing his secrets? The code of mathematics, scaling from 0 to 9, 3, 6 to 9 and 12, constitutes the ever-present code of law, which never grows old or ancient. Neither earth, water, air, and heat, light, or electricity will ever grow old or ancient. Neither woman, sons, and the letters of the alphabet will ever grow old or ancient. The whole of the which comprise the one great body of the ever-present living truth, which, therefore, is not a mystery and neither a secret. Do you agree? I hope you agree. All secret orders involve religion, symbolism, and mystic, goofy passwords are our own ignorance of realities which dwell within us and about us. That which individuals have in their minds unexpressed is a secret. Having expressed to another that in mind, then the great secret has been exposed to the outer world. See, the inner world is our universal subconscious, the mind which dictates our reasoning mind. Thus, our subconscious mind is the inner world, referred to as what? The all-seeing eye, the eye of providence. Our reasoning mind is the outer world, referred to as what? The light of the world, all of which derive from the woman, the creator of all sons in the course of 9 months, from conception to birth. Thus, the woman is the grand master architecture and the carpenter of the human body and mind, which makes all ones Muslims, regardless to the shade of the skin and color of one's eyes. You're going to talk about you believe in some foreign God. Well, my God is in the room right now. My God is my empress. Because without the woman, we wouldn't have no birth. And you believing in some foreign God. That's why we ain't honoring our women. Because you think you a God. Well, reproduce yourself. Have birth. You can't. We talking this garbage. We reducing our empress to put ourselves up. And our empress sat on the throne with us. What culture are you about? All male babies are sons of 9 months from conception to birth. In Christian mythology, the number 9 have many names. Don't y'all know that? In Christian mythology, in garbage, it has many names. Y'all want me to tell you what the names are? Nim, N-I-N, N-I-M, Nimrod, Nimrod, and Nun. Catechism or Catholicism. Taking something inner and making it outside and throwing you strictly off your science. I tell y'all, every child is born on the square and the angle of 90 degrees, 9 months from conception to birth. That's Islam. The term Muslim implies the works of nature involving the human body from conception to birth on the right angle motion or square of 90 degrees. The great circle of the earth comprised 360 degrees, squared by the number 9. 9 goes into 360 degrees how many times? I bet you these Moors be talking all this stuff. How many times 9 goes into 360 degrees? Wait. Don't answer it, y'all. For these Moors that say they more science and they study and they teaching somebody. They just having religion. 9 goes into 360 degrees 40 times. This is the number 40, which involved the Christian order of the clanism, society of European world, which Senator Bigelow of Mississippi had referred to over the Meet the Press program in 1946. Research it. That's why the Klan, the CLAN or the Klan, they implies the people who have agreed by oath or secret obligation to protect their society, so as to prevent legal marriages or socialization with people of heavy olive hue of skin. That's when you get those so-called black Christian codes. Ain't nothing changed. They just made them modern, referred to as Doc Brown. Should any of the women and grown sons violate the clannish code, they are subject to become a social outcast of the clan society, especially if violation involves marriage to any of the women and sons of the Doc Brown. Y'all didn't know that? See, the secrets of the number 9 involving woman and child, and the 12 signs of the zodiac is referred to as the rejected stone. Y'all didn't know that? The rejected stone, thus the stone that the sociologists of the Christian world rejected in the days of the old, becomes the head of the corner in the atomic age. That's when they tell you the old becomes new. They afraid. The first month of the year, April, is the first month of the new year, in harmony with the rising sun in the northern hemisphere, on the Tropic of Cancer, which occurs every year on March 21st and ushers in the spring season. See, mathematics and the zodiac. The Earth axis to its orbit evolved about the sun at the rate of 1 degree per day and 30 degrees a month. It completes its annual revolution of 360 degrees every year on March 20th in the 12th sign of the Pisces. Thus, the rays of the sun passes through 12 different regions of the earth called signs in the course of 1 year, calculated from the sign Aries to the sign Pisces. Now, who's going to disagree with science that can be proved? Woman, know thyself. And the following is the secret of the 9. Knowledge of the 12 signs of the zodiac involving our empresses. Child, and the secret of the 9 is important as the letters of the alphabet, which qualify them to read and write. Conception. Conception always occurs while the rays of the sun is in a certain sign of the zodiac. And the child is born 9 months later, while the rays of the sun is in another sign of the zodiac. For example, Moors, if conception occurs while the rays of the sun is in the sign of Aries between March 21st and April 19th, the child is born when the rays of the sun enter the sign Sagittarius between November 22nd and December 20th. Right, y'all? So how can you go against science? Only a Negro would do that. And that's all they're doing is coming from a religious perspective. Talk about we don't need this. Oh, you don't need science? You talking about a figure and groups. Man, I'm talking about science. I don't give a damn about no man. Science is way older than individuals. If conception occurred while the sun is in the sign of Taurus between April 20th and May 20th, the child is born when the sun enters the sign of Capricorn between December 21st and January 18th. I'm telling you. If conception occurs while the sun is born in the sign of Gemini between May 21st and June 21st, the child is born when the sun enters the sign of Aquarius between January 19th and February 19th. That's me. We are in the age of Aquarius, the age of information. You shouldn't be believing no religious garbage because somebody put a fez on. We scientists. I can break down all these astrological signs. And why would you disagree with science? You can't. Only a fool disagrees with science. That's why the secrets of the number 9 and the 12 signs of the zodiac involving a woman and child from conception to birth is referred to in the book of John and Revelations as the opening of the 7 seals. There we go about them 7 seals, from which has marked the very end of the Christian theology and the rise of woman with civilization, namely the Moorish or the Asiatic. Women of the United States who have been labeled Negro, colored people, by the sociologists of the Roman cross order. I'm sorry to assert that the present grown-up, especially 95% of both European and Asiatic Americans, would turn loose these white images. They won't. the doctrine of the church, even these so-called Arabic images, which is various denominations. I'm telling you. That's why the doctrine of no disrespect, white images was born in the United States of America or colonial North America through bloodshed and will vanish after bloodshed, which cannot be described in words. And the destruction is necessary in order that the oncoming generation might escape mental bondage and dead idol or image worship, which is definitely contrary to the truth, wisdom, and economic and social progress. That's why I'm going to give the interpretation of the sun in the 12 signs of the zodiac during the Earth's annual revolution of 360 degrees. And you are advised to always read the interpretation of the sun in each sign of the zodiac during the 9 months maturity of your child, and concentrate upon realities, equality, unity, and economic and social progress, peace and justice, because whatever in the womb, that what comes out. That's when your child will be born well educated, endowed with practical, down to earth, moral, and progressive wisdom, and will fear no evil. The interpretation of the sun in the 12 signs will also help you well understand yourself and your friends and your mates, according to the signs under which you and they were born. This scientific process of the universal law of nature definitely grants first-hand knowledge of cause and effect, which is one of the 7 Kemetic principles. I ain't gonna break down to 30 degrees how the sun is in Aries, and how 60 degrees the sun is in Taurus, and how in 90 degrees the sun is in Gemini, and how in 120 degrees the sun is in Cancer, and how in 150 degrees the sun is in Leo, and at 180 degrees the sun is in Virgo. I mean, I'll break it all down, but that's why I said we gotta learn. As the sun is the giver of life, we are born into the world, endowed with wisdom, ready for cultivation as we slowly advance. Therefore, Moors, the interpretation of the sun in the 12 signs apply to our daily activities, as well as its birth. And the fact remains that the human body constitutes the 12 signs of the zodiac, space and time. That's why I say mankind is mind, matter, motion, and form that measurably perfects from past memory of its many manifestations in life. Memory or mind never forgets. That's your hippocampus. Told y'all, man. We can correct all this misteaching, but you must be a student. Knowledge of the zodiac involving women, children, moon, sun, or earth might therefore be termed the clock of destiny. The great span of one's active life lies between woman on this earth. And we're talking about the clock of destiny. I ain't talking about no man, I'm talking about science. That's the clock of destiny. That's the great span of one's active life. It lies between woman and earth, from birth to what? Disintegration, when the flesh is gone, referred to as what? Death. All children come into the world by way of the woman and pass out by way of the earth. Wouldn't you agree? This is simple science. One never know by being told. Most of these Moors be told some shit. They ain't researching nothing. So take time out. Figure it out for yourself. Minutes, degrees, or meridians involving global geography as shown in the 12 signs of the zodiac from Aries to Pisces, which describe the measurement of time. The Earth axis to its orbit rotates at the rate of 1 degree every 4 minutes, which equals a geographical span of 60 miles. 60 minutes or 1 hour equals 15 degrees. A geographical span of 900 miles, 120 minutes or 2 hours equals 30 degrees. A geographical span of 1,800 miles. Each sign of the zodiac from Aries to Pisces constitutes 30 degrees each. The sun remains in each sign of the zodiac a duration of 12 hours. 12 hours a day equals 180 degrees, and 12 hours a night also equals 180 degrees. Thus, a day and a night equals 360 degrees. Time changes every 15 degrees during the 24 hours of the day and night. 24 times 15 equals what? 24 times 15 equals what? 360. The number 60 is the key to what? Geography. Therefore, you are advised to always multiply degrees or meridians of geography by the figure 60 for accuracy. Very simple. This is very simple science, man. Very simple science. but we playing with religion. That's why the science of the 12 signs of the zodiac has proven that the sun shines equally upon the earth in the course of 12 months, which designates one world, one race. The human family is equally dependent upon the other for existence, progress, the pursuit of happiness. Thus, the earth is a great community for the human family, from which is derived the term communist, the oldest phrase of creation. Let's commune together. That's why the science of the 12 signs of the zodiac have also proven that the philosophy of Christ and the place called Palestine are together the greatest and most detrimental fallacy that the world has ever known. That's why the term Egypt implies productive soil in the northern hemisphere, especially the United States of America and Canada, Upper Lower Egypt. The white sons and daughters went to Egypt by the stroke of a pen. I can take y'all all over. The term Mason, let's clear this up. The term Mason, watch this. The term Mason implies master, missing, MESSEN, missing or messenger, which simply means one who possesses scientific knowledge of the works of nature as shown in the 12 signs of the zodiac. Such knowledge makes one's consciousness of the fact that his universal mind makes him free to propagate truth contrary to secrets, falsehood, imperialism. You see? So watch this. I'm gonna break something down for y'all. So when you talk about the Holy Quran, and I'm gonna show y'all, and when you talk about, they talk about a picture of Muhammad, I say, show me one. Because here go Muhammad right here. Here go Muhammad right here, with the sun in the middle with the astrological signs in it. We talk about science, but you believing in some man. It's right here. It's right here. This is it. You worried about some man. I say, I ain't worried about no man. I'm talking about this science. Give a damn about no man. I'm talking about science. The Holy Quran, also that's the real picture of Muhammad. The Muslims have never painted the picture of Muhammad in the likeness of a son, of a woman. Such paintings is of a Christian artist of depiction. Having read the complete geography of the 12 signs of the zodiac and the above symbol of the earth revolving about the sun, this is the earth. This is the earth revolving around the sun. Do y'all see that? This is the earth revolving around the sun. And you're going to talk about, oh, we don't need science. Yeah, because you believe in some Negro. Having read the complete geograph of the 12 signs of the zodiac, the above symbols of the earth revolving about the sun gives you a tangible illustration of what? Latitude north, south of the equator. The curved lines, these curved lines, y'all see these curved lines? That's why I be saying most of these more than in their laboratory with their test tubes and beakers, they just talking. The curved line that's shown leading from the North Pole to the South Pole describe the hourly rotation of Earth, which measures the 24 hours of the day, and are referred to as longitude, east and west, or spring and fall. The circle lines as shown connecting with the rays of the sun describe the months and seasons of the year, and are referred to as latitude north and latitude south, summer and winter, or north and south. Right there, and we're going to sit up here and talk about some man-made religion. I'm telling you, man, we got to stop playing, let people just tell us stuff. They just be talking from no science, and I'm like, okay, will you take that to court? No. That's why Yaqub is an Arabic name. Yaqub is referred to in the Christian Bible as Jacob. Thus, the sons and their daughters of the head tribe of Yaqub finally caught up with the civilization on August 6, 1945, the era of the atomic bomb. Names of deception and confusion. Yaqub's sons and daughters have given themselves many names, most common of which are Afghan, AFCAN, African, Indian, Spanish, Negro, Egyptian, Ethiopian, Greco, Greek, red man, Jew. The last of which is in China, or white people, the myth of white supremacy, referred to as the walls of China, the world of make-believe. The world of make-believe. That's what people in. Y'all in make-believe land. That's a wrap, man. That's a wrap. I'm done. So, and somebody talk about mathematics and science is not good because you caught up in some religion. I'll give you this. I'm gonna give you the $1 million question right here. If you are doubtful of the history and the science of the Moorish nation and your forefathers, as shown in when we talk about the clock of destiny, the science, forget the man. Ask any European, white, black, orange, purple politician, ask any person or school teacher this $1 million question. What was the correct name of the peoples of the North America prior to the revolution and the Union of 1863? Ask them before they were named Indian, African, and Negro. And the correct answer is Moor. I guarantee you that. Islam.